Your Humanities Half Hour is brought to you by the Northern Marianas Humanities Council, navigating the human experience together.
Hafadei, Tiro, and welcome to Your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry, and today we're talking with the 2025 Governor's Humanities Awardee as Outstanding Humanities Teacher in the Classroom. She's also a former Teacher of the Year under the public school system here in the Marianas, Riya Nathrani. Riya, nice to see you again.
Yes, it's great to be here. Thank you so much.
Man, such a pleasure to chat with you today. You're such a beacon of light, really, among our educators in our community. How did you feel when you found out you were getting the award in 2025?
Yeah, thank you for that. So I was surprised at first. The Humanities Award is such an amazing recognition in our community, and being able to kind of do what I do and also get recognized for it is really a blessing, and I feel grateful to community members who continue this work. And for me, the award means it's kind of like a culmination of the things we do, that teachers do in their classrooms, that students are learning, that our community organizations are trying to work towards. So it was I'm really grateful to receive the award, but at the same time, I was more deeply appreciative of the work that goes behind preservation and really being able to teach the humanities in our community.
It's interesting how you are blending modern technology to help enhance the humanities, especially the indigenous culture. But take us back to the beginning. How did you figure out you wanted to be an educator?
For sure. So I really love telling this story because as a kid, you don't really realize the things that you do will have a big impact later on. But what I did as a kid to, have fun and pass time was I would line up my stuffed animals and toys and pretend to teach them. And I would take attendance every day. I had a whiteboard and chalkboard, and my mom reminded me that, yeah, you used to also do their assignments for them, of course.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a lot of experience in teaching in that way that slowly became something more realistic. When I was in high school, I volunteered in classrooms. So I was at WSR Elementary School for their summer program, and I volunteered at Sister Medio School for their kindergarten classrooms to help the teachers out, but also to really gain experience into what teaching is. So as a kid, I've always wanted to help people. And growing up, I wanted to help serve the community. So I was like, okay, these two things go very well together. And when I started my degree at the Northern Marianas College, I was like, yep, this is for me. And whether it was teaching the kindergartners their ABCs or multiplication with third graders, I felt like I was making an impact. And to me, that was really something I wanted to do all along. And through education, I was able to achieve that.
Just curious, when you were in school before college, what was your favorite subject in school?
My favorite subject, I think language arts.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked writing also, and I remember, just enjoying being in school a lot. Mm-hmm. And I also did take AP psychology. I enjoyed that as well in high school. So I think a lot of the subjects I was exposed to had definitely a great hand in, helping me become who I am now, because all of those subjects, all of those lessons come into play when you're a teacher.
Why do you feel as an educator that the humanities are important for our community?
Yes, very important to consider those things. When I think about the humanities, I really think about our culture in the Marianas, our traditions and our values and our people, and the languages that we want to continue to preserve and to teach our students. So when I think of teaching the humanities, it's because I want these things to be preserved for the next 50, 100, or 500 years, so that students who are coming into our system, our public schools and our private schools, continue to get the education we need. So one other thing that comes to mind is how a lot of our textbooks don't necessarily represent our students in the classroom. Some of them, are more catered towards a certain demographic, and so a lot of students don't see themselves represented in the things that they read about. So when we embed humanities education in our classrooms, they start to see the importance of learning these subjects, these moments in history, and then they start shaping their identity as someone from the Marianas and how that can shape the community itself.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people say, westernization or modernization is a threat to indigenous culture. How do you see that? How do you blend the two?
Yeah, it can be something that a lot of people think about, right? When we're trying to preserve our cultures and our traditions, but at the same time we have technology that can be harmful in some ways. I know a lot of schools are trying to promote digital wellness and trying to basically ensure that students get time on screen and off screen.
Because that affects mental health.
Yes. So the way that I blend the two is in lessons in schools, it's the students that come first and the lessons that come first and not the technology. So if technology can be used to enhance that lesson, then yes, we should use it. And if it can be used to elevate that topic and the content, then yes, we should definitely use it. But it should never replace the teacher or the student themselves. It should be used as an assistant or as a way of showing what they understood. But we have different applications and tools that we use in the schools that do exactly that. They don't necessarily, take over the learning. They help students kind of showcase it in different ways.
And what impact are you seeing as you apply technology to the classroom?
Yeah, so when I do professional development, and I really love working with our Chamorro and Carolinian language and heritage studies teachers, because I feel like they have such a unique way of teaching already, but then when we add technology to that, we can really enhance the instruction. And students nowadays are very tech savvy, so when they see that something is connected to technology, they're immediately more engaged. So the effects that I'm seeing and that teachers report after attending the PD sessions is they see an increased engagement in their classrooms. Their students are more engaged and they're submitting more assignments. And I also noticed how students are becoming more confident in showing what they understand. So when we kind of blend the two together, we have the lessons of our indigenous cultures and languages, but we're using technology as kind of like a canoe or a platform for them to showcase what they know. It's a really great way to make that come to life.
Can you give us some examples of some of the ways they're applying technology in like the Chamorro Carolinian Language Heritage Studies program, either something you've taught the teachers or something you've seen the teachers develop themselves?
Yes, for sure. So one of the lessons that I recently did and that I really enjoy is doing a lesson on virtual field trips. So doing an actual field trip for a group of students has a lot of logistical considerations. So with virtual field trips, teachers can take their students on these journeys anywhere in the world essentially, but really starting at home. So even asking like a group of students, like, has anyone of them been to Tinian or Rhoda? And, usually it's like one or two students. And in Rhoda and Tinian, it's the same if we ask them if they've been to Saipan. So even if we're in one sort of area, one Marianas, we're not necessarily able to go to these different places, even if we want to. So what I did was I showed the Chamorro and Carolinian teachers virtual field trips that they could do from their devices, and how to kind of send or share the links or the QR codes with their students so they can access them on their own devices as well. So we took a virtual field trip to the House of Taga in Tinian, the Laddystone Quarry in Rhoda, and even to Marpi and the Last Command Post in Saipan.
Surprising that a lot of students haven't even been to Marpi or to Managaha,
Yes.
or let alone another island. So that's really incredible.
Yeah.
How about the teachers themselves? Have you gotten any feedback from them as to other ways that they may have applied what you've taught them?
Yeah, so we also have this program. It's a year-long cohort called the Educational Technology Program. And in that program, we have teachers try out different applications and tools and see what works for them and their students. So some of the things that have come from that and from additional PDs I do is the use of Canva. So this is a tool where students can easily design videos and posters and infographics about different topics. And the teachers themselves use it as a way to give lessons to their students. So it's more interactive than a lot of slideshow tools. It also provides audio features so that teachers can record themselves. They've also looked at tools to create digital storybooks online where students basically have the English and Chamorro or Carolinian version of the story. They add their pictures and drawings and again record themselves saying the story or reading the story aloud. And the other tool is Nearpod, which is an interactive tool where they can have different activities throughout the lesson. So a lot of times we see the teacher at the front of the classroom and they're sharing a lot of information, but we also want our students to be able to apply what they're learning right away. And so when the teachers do these activities in their classrooms, they have the immediate feedback from students. So let's say they provide them with a prompt and they give them the opportunity to type in their response. And if they notice like this student isn't responding or maybe there's a misconception they need to address, it's done right there. As a former teacher, I know how hard it is to give feedback and grade things right away. But that immediate feedback is very important because if we wait too long, the students will kind of forget about the assignment or it won't be as impactful. So with tools like Nearpod, they get their students logged into the lesson. Teachers can control the slides, going to the different activities. Students do them. And then you can also embed some live discussions too. It doesn't always have to be digital, but at least it gives those students, what I found, the quiet ones don't really express themselves as much. And so their voices are important too. And so with this tool or website, they're able to type in that response and also be heard.
I love that.
Yeah.
And the Humanities Award and the Teacher of the Year aren't the only awards you've gotten. I want to talk more about other recognitions you've received after the break. We will be back with Riya after this break.
Hafaday, Zantiro. I'm Leo Pangilinan with the Northern Marianas Humanities Council. We'd like to take a moment to thank our generous sponsors who have made possible the many programs in our community like this show. We couldn't have done it without them. And if you value the work we do and would like to make a contribution to our efforts, we ask that you consider making an in-kind or cash contribution to the Northern Marianas Humanities Council. Any amount is appreciated, and donations of up to $5,000 qualify for an educational tax credit. We appreciate your partnership and support. Sidhus Maasi, Olomai, and thank you.
Looking for resources about Marianas history, culture, and more? Well, check out the Northern Marianas Humanities Council's collection. Our extensive video, audio, and photographic library can be found on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at 670 Humanities. Or check out the written resources on our website at nmhcouncil.org. And for those who prefer a good book, we also have a selection of local publications for purchase. So, dive in, explore, and share your comments as we navigate the human experience together.
Welcome back. We're chatting today with the 2025 Governor's Humanities Awardee as Outstanding Humanities Teacher in the Classroom, Riya Nathrani. Riya, I know you're very family-oriented and your parents must be so proud of you. They're always supporting you. What do you feel are the biggest lessons you learned from your parents that have helped you achieve where you are today?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. I definitely consider myself to be very family-oriented, and I think my parents are a huge part of why I have been able to do what I do. So, just from being able to raise me in the way that they did, always instilling hard work and determination, and also following my dreams. So I felt like I had a good idea of what I wanted to be as a kid, but sometimes I would stray off that, in high school when you have additional things that come up. But whatever I mentioned, they were very supportive of it. Even if in my family there are currently no other teachers or educators, they don't. Teachers don't get paid very well in India, where they're from. They still said, it's not the money that's important, it's your passion and what you want to do. So I was able to pursue those things because they supported me. At first, of course, it was financially, and then they were able to support me emotionally. And even now when I have something come up and I want to get advice, they're the first people I turn to, and I really take their thoughts into consideration. So it's really interesting because when I was going to NMC, my parents were selling clothes at the flea market at Naru Building, and that's kind of how they put me through college, besides me getting a work-study job. But them being able to support me and feeding me at home was important. So I always think back to that and think, the sacrifices that they've made for me and my brother to help us achieve our dreams is really something I want to recognize about them. And I was so happy to be able to bring them with me when I received the award, because I think, it's very important to be able to appreciate those who support you along the way. And they're definitely my number one supporters.
I think that's pretty evident. So we have chatted previously when you were Teacher of the Year, State Teacher of the Year, a couple years back. What are the important lessons or experiences you took from that year that are helping you with where you are today in your profession?
Yeah, for sure. That was an amazing opportunity that I had in the year 2022 when I got to meet with the other state and territory teachers of the year from across the nation, and I was able to connect with them and see what's going on in their districts and their schools. And so the lessons that I took away, the most important ones was that even though we're a small island or a small territory, our voices still matter. So when I talk to teachers about how our district does certain things or how what our demographics or cultures look like, they really wanted to hear about it, and they were really in awe of the incredible things that we do in the CNMI. Unfortunately, a lot of them didn't actually know at first that we exist, and that happens a lot in the conferences I attend as well. But I think it's even I use that as an opportunity to educate them about not only our location, but also just the amazing things that happen. So parts of our history that should be shared and our culture. And so when we had the different events that we did, we were able to go to the White House, we did Space Camp, we were able to meet together at Princeton University. Those were some of the opportunities that I made sure I took advantage of, and then I used that and shared it with my students to let them know that they can dream big, even though they're far away from the US or other places. they don't have to limit themselves to, just the shores, right? They can dream bigger and really think about how to impact our community in more ways.
And you've also recently received the Generation AI Luminary Award. What's that all about?
Yeah, so in the summer, last summer, June 2025, I was able to get nominated for the Generation AI Luminary Award that I received at ISTE conference in June.
What's ISTE?
Yeah, so ISTE is the International Standards for Technology Education.
Wow.
So that's basically a global organization. It's a nonprofit that helps to elevate the use of technology in schools and in districts. And so they have a set of technology standards that they want to share with teachers and principals and district staff on how we can really use technology more meaningfully in our classrooms. So the standards range anywhere from digital citizenship to global collaborator to creating things ourselves, or communication. How do we use technology for all these different things? So they have a conference every year, and so Generation AI is a part of that initiative where they're trying to get about 200,000 teachers more comfortable and aware of AI literacy and how to use AI in the classroom effectively. So that award I received was to recognize the work I do with our teachers here in the district. I do a lot of PDs on artificial intelligence, and one of the things that I shared on the panel was how our Chamorro and Carolinian teachers don't necessarily have, a lot of resources at their disposal, like maybe other subjects might be able to find online because they follow the national standards. But for our Chamorro and Carolinian teachers, things are more limited. And so a lot of times they have to create their own things, their own lessons and activities. And that can get to be time consuming. It can be overwhelming, especially if they're just starting out. So I wanted a way to help them create activities, but also not, burn out or not be overwhelmed. So with AI, we create things like stories about, famous legends, and they can turn it into a modern sort of story. There's also a storybook we created on Google Gemini where it talked about a grandfather showing his grandson about how to navigate in the canoe with the use of the stars, right? And that's an important part of Carolinian culture and history. So by embedding these traditional sort of stories into ways of technology, I feel like we can have our students exposed to them a bit more. They're able to access them better. And so that is the work I do with AI.
We might need another show for this, but I do want to ask, what is next on the horizon for you? What have you got brewing?
Yeah, so as someone who's always trying to look for more to do, I do consider myself a workaholic sometimes, but it's all, something I enjoy. But what is next on the horizon is I want to write books for children, especially for children in the Marianas who, again, don't often see themselves reflected in literature or history books. But these are more going to be to help them learn the languages, Chamorro and Carolinian. So I actually started on a book already about fruits, different native fruits that we have in the CNMI. I was able to talk to different people about it and then ask others for their help in translating the names of the fruits. But I want to continue this work to make it accessible for our students to get more knowledge about the things that we have on island. And I also want to continue doing the professional development I do. So right now I do bi-monthly or monthly professional development with our Chamorro and Carolinian teachers. So I want to continue that work because with technology, there's a lot of things that are always coming out and that are new. So I want to make sure they're aware of these things. And if it's something really cool that they can use in their classrooms, then that's really something that excites me. And I want them to have information about it.
Well, thank you for that. And coming down to the end here, what advice would you give, if any? And I know it's weird asking people. People are like, well, who am I to give advice? I think you've deserved the right to share some gems of wisdom to other educators, teachers in the classroom and outside the classroom. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I always love working with newer teachers because we were all there once in our lives. You know, we're always a new teacher. And so I want to give the advice that you have so much power to, you know, make an impact in students' lives. At the same time, you know, don't stretch yourself too thin, like start small, try some things out, and then you can slowly expand from there. And I also want to encourage them to really honor the cultures and the identities that we have in the Marianas. So if they are able to embed that and make their lessons more relevant and culturally grounded, their students will see the relevance of what they're learning, and they're able to really connect that to their own cultures and the Marianas. So try kind of just to see how these things can connect to each other and make things more relevant to the CNMI.
Thank you so much for your time today. Any final thoughts before we go?
Well, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be here today, and I really want to thank the Humanities Council for the opportunity to receive the award, because it's really nice to be recognized for the work we do, and I want to dedicate it to everyone in the community who's really doing the important work of preserving the humanities and working with people to ensure we carry these things forward into the future.
Well, thank you and congratulations, and we look forward to more good things coming from you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Our guest today has been Riya Nathrani. She is the 2025 Governor's Humanities Awardee as Outstanding Humanities Teacher in the Classroom. This has been your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry.
Your Humanities Half Hour has been made possible in part by a major grant from the National Endowment for the Humanities. Democracy demands wisdom. Any views, findings, conclusions, or recommendations expressed in this program do not necessarily represent those of the National Endowment for the Humanities. For more information or to share your thoughts, contact the Northern Marianas Humanities Council at nmhcouncil.org or on social media at 670 Humanities. That's 670 Humanities.